Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Yay.
Hey, Jennifer.
How's it going? People are coming in.
Jennifer, where are you based?
I am in Mississippi, oddly. I'm
Okay.
usually the only one in the room. I don't know why.
I remember that from yesterday. Just
Yes.
I needed a refresher.
I've got to
Couldn't remember what time zone you were in.
Central. But I'm so used to working on Easter now. I was sending a message the other day and I just put ET at the end of it for someone and they're like, what? I'm like, oh, sorry. I'm so used to working in Eastern time zone now.
So I'm in California and I used to work almost 100% in Eastern time. And it got so that I would just automatically deduct 3 hours from everything. And then I realized I was deducting it from Pacific time. So I'd show up 3 hours early.
Time zones. It's so fun.
Mhm.
I did a tech run through this morning with our entertainment break earlier, and he's in South Africa. So it'll be his evening when he joins us later today.
Yeah, really late there. Yep.
Love it. And it's spring, which is even more fun. So,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay,
so
so
fun.
what's the entertainment? That sounds exciting.
A shark marine biologist.
Cool.
Isn't that fun?
Neat. I can't wait.
Yeah. So where's everybody else from? Let's start here. Victoria, you're in California now?
Yeah, Santa Rosa, California.
Okay, so we got Pacific covered. Chloe, where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I just looked it up. There's an app called Time Buddy that makes it super easy to see exactly what time it is in someone else's time zone. So
that's huge.
I'm a big fan.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
I'll put it in the chat.
Time Buddy.
And also in Outlook now you can have all 3 time zones with your appointments.
Wow.
That's the newest feature as well, and it has been very helpful.
That's great. Yeah, now that we don't have to be time restricted, it gets complicated. This is great. Not even the topic of today, and we're already learning.
Yep.
Let's see who else has camera on. Anthony, where are you from? You're in New York? No. London? No. Where are you?
Toronto.
Toronto. Gosh, I'm way off.
Well, London, Ontario, that's pretty close.
There you go.
So there you go. We'll give you that.
The accent makes it all, international, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have all the clocks behind you.
I do. I'm standing in the way. I have all of my time zones that I deal with on a regular basis because Time Buddy's awesome, but I never look at the computer screen so I can go, hey, what time's it in Europe again? I can just look over my shoulder. So
is there stuff on your ceiling too, or do you cover everything?
Yeah, kind of.
Wow.
Lots of thoughts.
I need a
Lots of reminders. That was the thing I was thinking about. Oh yeah, I should do something with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see. Sarah, where are you calling it, or where are you at now?
Hello, I am disappearing from my screen. I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, there's 2 Sarahs. New Jersey. So we got some East Coast.
Yeah.
And I see we have 2 Sarahs. Sarah, Robin, where are you at?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
Okay, great. And I know Craig is in from New York. Yay.
Came to support my buddy.
Yes, we love her. And what about George?
Hello from Brooklyn.
Great. And we'll just keep doing this until it's actually time so no one misses anything. Samantha.
Hi there. I'm joining from Boston.
Sherry? I love Sherry, the details. That's great.
Hi, I'm from Bentonville, Arkansas.
Oh, great. You're probably the closest to me. We can drive to
awesome.
Arkansas. It's not, super close, but sometimes, yay. And Thomas, I don't know if Thomas, if you can say where you are, feel free.
Hey, I'm from Montreal. Trying to get the right video here.
Got a couple of Canadians. It's great.
There you
And
go.
Sharon, hi, Thomas. And Sharon, where are you? I love that picture.
Thank you.
Where are you, Sharon?
I am in the Silicon Valley area. So let me start my video. I just had it on yesterday when we were doing the little character say, I already
You
have
had
one.
yours made, didn't you?
So yes, I'm your scribe for today. So
Oh, how wonderful.
yes, so you will see that afterwards. I'll have you send me the transcription afterwards as well. So,
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. All right.
so I just asked you to
Got
mute
it.
me
Very cool. That's great.
and the
Okay.
chat as well.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right.
So good morning, everyone, from wherever you all are.
Good
Sharon,
morning.
Morning, afternoon, wherever everybody is in the world. I love it. We're global.
across all time zones.
And Andrea, where are you in the world if you can unmute and tell us? And Adam, where are you?
Oh, I think I connected to Adam yesterday in the
Twine.
breakout individual networking.
Oh, the Twine was, it's fun.
Yeah,
isn't
on
it?
Twine. I'm so sorry. I lost
Yeah.
it for a second in my memory.
Well, we are about a minute away from starting, so we can go ahead and kind of get started. People will still be coming in. This is just a casual conversation. If you participated in our Hackett session yesterday, in either one of them, basically, this is just a chance for us to figure out how to kind of solve some of these, big issues that we're dealing with, not, solve it in 20 minutes. However, we can provide tips and insights and things that are working for us. As we know, the past year and a half have completely sped up the world of some disruption in, workforce. So where do we get our workforce? How do you manage your workforce? How do we build a team? And as you can see, just by this conference, how Liz built her team, none of us, I don't go and sit in her house and work with her. Obviously we are working remotely. So it's pretty great. We each can use our own skill sets and work with her. So, but I would love to hear from you about how you're building a team. So consider these few things, but this will fly by. So I want us to kind of think about several things and then just bring up other things that you want to think about. But one, how are you building a team? And we're all different. Some of us work for other companies, some of us work for ourselves. How are you building a team in this new environment? What tools are you using to manage your team? We just threw out a few just a minute ago with these whole working over time zones. I mean, it's not easy to, if you work with someone in say South Africa, how are you going to manage your team meetings and things like that? Do you even need a team meeting? So how are you managing your teams? Where are you finding them? We also have to consider legal issues. Everybody in different countries have to deal with different employees. Is it an employee? Is it a contractor? So how are you managing all of that? So that's all the kind of things to think of. So tools, how are you finding? How are you hiring them? Is it temporary? Is it not? Are you using interns? So there's all kinds of things. I know the internship world right now is probably, in the hospitality industry, it's probably very digital. They need hours. I know our local university, they're used to just going in and working in the hospitality industry for their internship hour requirements. Well, now a lot of that probably has to be met virtually. And then how do you onboard these people? How do you onboard them if they're just there for one event or if they're there just temporarily? So whoever wants to just start, let's just go ahead and just unmute. And yeah, Sharon.
So I'll tell you, it's been interesting. I've actually gotten business because people were looking for event technologists. And so that's been great. I think I've been just trying to find people that can do stuff like a virtual assistant, a VA, who I've had helping me with do some standard stuff because I just don't have the cycles to do it. And I was lucky enough through TaskRabbit to find a couple of people who had the skill set that I needed. And I now work with them directly instead of going through TaskRabbit. I've done that. And then we've done the same thing for help. We have a number of people that we've now added to our list to do live tech support the day of. And a lot of times it depends on the client. The client that we have for an event next week is totally disorganized, is like dumping stuff onto our team at the last minute, but we're kind of pushing back. But we've had to add people in order to deliver, even though they're late. We still have the expectation of delivering the event. So it's been quite interesting. So I think as we find people in doing events like this, we add them to our list, we connect to them on LinkedIn, and then we find out if there's a way to do business together or to find, tools that will also help streamline some of that. It's not only the human tools, but the digital tools as well. And for me, that's been Talk, TAWK, which allows me to embed live desk tech support with a preloaded set of answers for answering FAQs and stuff like that. It's been a godsend. I'm actually doing that right now on my other computer. So if you see me shy away, it's because I'm doing both today. So
that's really neat. Thank you, Sharon. We have, if you want to speak, raise your hand and I'll just go in order of as I see the hands raised. That's great, Sharon. Good. I love that you're multitasking too, because we all do that. Chloe, I saw your hand go up next.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here for this exact opportunity. So I don't know if anyone else is in this boat. I've been a solopreneur. So that's kind of just like a one-person show since I started my business in 2015. And so I never knew you could have like a team and like not do everything. Obviously day of, you have a whole staff, but I'm currently, I'll be very vulnerable. I'm currently experiencing growing pains where like, I can't be everywhere at once. And I have a large contract with Microsoft. So I literally have other clients now coming to me being like, oh, like we have, work for you in 2022. So like I need other people, but I am scared to go the employee route because of like, it's like chicken or egg. It's like, you need to go out and get the sales to like fund the employee. And like, I don't like debt, but maybe that's part of being a business person. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. Mostly I've contracted, I've used interns before. It's great to connect with a marketing department specifically at a local college. I've had success with University of Portland and they love sending people to my company and students who get their hours in. So that's been successful. As far as tech, I'm obsessed with Airtable. It's part of that low code, no code movement, if that means anything to you. And I think Netflix like built their whole systems off of Airtable. So it works really well. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has experience growing and like when you get your first employee or do you just stay with contractors and how do you pitch like, oh yeah, hire us. So far I've done it where I pitch to a prospective client that like, oh, I bring in just the right people for your event, because I don't have them yet. But yet I'm like selling this business. Anyway, I'm sorry to take up so much time.
This is good though. This is great. A lot of us can relate. A lot of us are solo. So that's really, really good. Airtable, I've got to look into that one. George, next.
Aha, the mute button. I'm right there with you, Chloe. I was looking at Airtable to build out some apps for myself because I kept finding that there was a lot of, whether it was Asana, I was paying for a team access, even though it was just for me. Whether it was Microsoft To Do, whatever I was using, it didn't connect or do what I wanted to do. And so I was looking at Airtable to kind of build out my own processes. And then I stumbled upon Notion. Notion.so is the website. And there's, if you take like Airtable or Monday.com and all these database things and merged it with a Evernote with a OneNote, it's overwhelming at first because of all the different things you can do with it. I'm finding that it's really interesting to build my own workflows and to describe the workflow in the page, but then also have every single part of the actual task list or the project list on the same page. It's incredibly powerful. I'm building out to like grow my own, to basically kind of grow a business around it, just building out templates for businesses and associations. But it's really fascinating. Happy to geek out about it anytime. But also, Chloe, to kind of touch on what you were saying, I'm also in that growth mode, and I've just converted to saying we instead of I. And changing all my contracts to say like brain freeze networks will do, brain freeze networks will do. And yeah, I mean, that's how I grow. And the consultants I talk to, the freelancers, the contractors, like I'm very upfront with them about where I am in my business, talking about where we can go, talking about the potential of growing together, keep, working with other people. But when we get to that point, we'll have that conversation, and they're open to it so far. To kind of be vulnerable, the biggest thing of letting go for me, and I've only been able to do the last couple months, was letting go of a lot of my finances and the bookkeeping aspect of my business, because that felt so personal, and it felt so like, ooh, this is like the icky parts that I don't really want to think about, but I feel like I have to deal with. And finally finding like a bookkeeper that I could really talk to and like contract it out to, and oh man, the relief and like the relaxing of my muscles from just not having to think about that has been amazing.
Right.
Step
Putting
off the
someone
stage for
doing
now.
things that they are good at.
Oh
and
yeah,
letting
yeah,
it go.
not doing it ourselves.
And it's not that I enjoy some of the things that I know I shouldn't be doing, but they're taking my time. So, Sharon, your hand's raised.
So what I was going to say, I put in chat to Chloe, is that I was lucky enough to meet a group of people through the ELI VEMM class. I was a guest lecturer there, and then I met a group of people who were looking for somebody who is more on the event technology side. They are people in New York City who do almost all of the nonprofit conferences and galas, fundraisers for the affordable housing area. So we formed a collaborative. There are 9 of us. We've got graphic artists, we've got videographers, each of us has our own specialty. We have our own company, but one person goes into their normal clients and sells it. And we've done 14 events. We have scheduled virtual events. So we just did our first hybrid this past week. Now we have a 3-day conference next week with the new governor of New York and the secretary of HUD. So it's really been a great way to get the extra teams that you need. I think you form collaboratives based on your areas of interest.
I mean, the other friction, I think, as far as this comes down to the fact that majority of people came into the events industry didn't come in to increase impressions or to generate leads. They got into this because they're into the people business. They believe that
part of it. Hold on.
Take care of you. Is that something I didn't know where that was coming from?
Hold on. Who is that?
And that type of DNA versus the technology DNA.
Just mute Shirley. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, did you figure it out?
Great. Yeah, I think somebody had not muted themselves. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time, but I think it's a concept that's worked because I think we've all had to learn technology together. So it's been really great to have a partner in crime during the day, depending on, where they are. And it's really made a huge difference as we've rolled this out. So just FYI.
I'm loving the collaborative concept. That's pretty genius. That's kind of also how I love working with Liz, and like, we're all getting used to working together,
right?
And we're not in the same place. And so it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the only one on the West Coast. Everybody else is New York City or the New York City area. But what's also nice is now we've been able to go to a couple of the platforms and become partners with them under our collaborative, so we can offer a discounted rate to our nonprofits who can't afford the full price. So there's other things you can do that benefit your clients, and also sets us up to be, I think, a little better poised for doing this next year. So just my 2 cents. I will now Be
Thank
quiet
you,
and let
Sharon.
everybody else talk.
Chloe's next.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to take up too much space here. Question for Sharon or just for everyone. I think finding vendors, to me, I'll just say it is the easy part, but finding like another actual event planner, like I would imagine many people are planners in this room. So like any suggestions? Obviously you work with those people throughout time, but, and I try and keep like a Rolodex in case like you're busy, you literally want to refer a client to someone you would trust, you know.
I'll throw
you're
out the
giving them
Techsy
business.
Talk Collaborative as a place to find people.
What
If
is
you
it?
need
Oh,
the
that was
Techsy
the,
Talk Collaborative, the Facebook group, the
Thank
actual
you.
collaborative, not Techsy Talk Community.
Okay.
Techsy Talk Community is great, but it's more inclusive of platforms and technology, everybody. But the collaborative is pretty much your planners. And then what happens when I've noticed people put something out there, I don't know if it was there or the community, someone asked about Zoom, and then you see where someone else says, oh, I recommend so-and-so. So you're getting a referral of someone who specifically is good at whatever it is you need. Just an idea. But there other people might have some other ideas as well.
Yeah, I had my hand up, but then I'll also answer that question
Yes,
a little
Victoria.
bit. You know, the way I respond to requests or I see requests like that is when they're posted. Like Liz posted that she needed help with some folks to jump on. And so I just emailed back and said, hey, I'm available that day. So I think a part of it is being more transparent about what help you do need. And being clear on what parameters you're looking for. So somebody can easily go, boom, oh yeah, I'm available. I'm jumping in. Here's my, I've worked with Liz before, so she knew me, but those kinds of things. So people can just jump in and do that referral or raise their hand and say, hey, I'm your person. And I know for me, I have a hard time. I wait till I'm really overwhelmed. And then it's too overwhelming to actually onboard somebody. And I think a critical piece is to onboard sooner. And you can even tell somebody, like if I'm working with somebody and they go, you know what, I'm not sure what I'm going to need, but this thing is coming up. I'd like you to be on deck for it. I don't know the exact number of hours. Is that something you'd be available for? And if the calendar's open, well, you probably get a lot of yeses. Like, that's okay. I'm willing to work within a range of what you think you'll need or a time period. So don't be hesitant about putting that out there. As soon as you feel the little tickle in your brain that says, I think there's going to be more coming in than I can reasonably handle. And remember, you're the CEO of your business. So the more you can bring in people, the more business you can go out and get, and the better you can guide your whole organization, because it's going to build. It's going to be great. But my question is does anybody have a good way of onboarding? Do you have written policies? Do you have written, what is your brand? What kinds of people or what kinds of visibility do you put out there to your clients? Your clients come to you because of your brand. How do you transfer that to your employees or consultants? Is there a good way for doing that?
Good question, Chloe.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time building and refining a discovery form, I call it. So a lot of people do this to vet clients, I'm sure, but it does kind of get at the root questions that we always like to know from clients, and then sharing that with your team so everyone's on the same page of where folks are coming from. An example question that I learned the hard way is have you worked with an event planner before? Because knowing if they have or they haven't, they're going to be a very different type of client. So just kind of learning through experience of what questions to ask from the very get-go, whether to even take the client, but then also to have that information to kind of catch the team up to speed as you build it out.
Good one.
Really good. We use Loom a lot. Like when I first started with Liz, there'd be some tech things that I needed to know how to do, but we don't want to have to take a whole call. She just makes a little Loom video. Here's how to go in and do this piece of tech that maybe I need to know. And then I can keep it. If I forget, we don't use that platform for a little while, but Loom videos I find very, very good for the tools, orienting to tools. Anyone else have any ideas of onboarding, orienting, especially if they're just on for like a minute, like they're on for one event or whatever? What else? Does anybody have ideas?
Jennifer, can you talk more about Loom?
Loom is like
I've
a
never heard
software.
of it.
It's $10 a month. I think it's LOOM. You can also do it with Canva now. I think you can record your screen, and Vimeo has an option if you have their pro account. So it's just it just records your screen. So whether Liz is showing me how to put something on the website or whatever. And someone else just loaded one into here as well. So just keep checking the chat too, if y'all want to load in your tips as we go along. So Vidyard was another one someone mentioned. So it's just recording your screen, which is helpful for tech tool orientation. George has some ideas.
Yeah, I love using Loom. One of my clients, I'm their hardware tech guy. So I teach them about all their integrations, about how to use their databases, about how to use all their digital platforms. And I use Loom a lot just to send them, hey, when they ask me a question, how do I do this? Or how do I make this query happen? I pull it up on Loom, do it. And it's real fun because you have like in the corner your face so you can make reactions or whatever. And it's so much quicker than email because you're not overthinking what you're saying. You can just correct yourself on the fly. And to plug Notion some more, Notion, you can embed Loom videos. So I've sent entire pages with like the whole project scope or whatever. And then in that page had a Loom video. It's like, hey, welcome to this page. Here's how you use it. Click, 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 click. Here's where you go for this. Here's where you go for that. I love that. And I use Loom to train my contractors on like whatever platforms my clients are using. I love Loom. There is a free option. You can only have 25 videos at a time, I think, or maybe they dropped it down to 10 now. But yeah, plug for Loom in Notion.
Love it. Chloe? And I'm a big fan of Google too. I use Google Dropbox, all the Google software. Love it.
Yeah, I was going to add another thing that I have found helpful is with anyone you're working with, I just tell them like, document everything and imagine you had to teach this to someone. Cause and it's hard because like, say you're with a contractor and it's their business. Like I'm so aware of IP, so intellectual property. So you're creating systems and intellectual property, but I kind of build it into the contract. Like if we're going to work together, like it's the whole, if you get hit by a bus scenario, like document where you're up to, and then literally write out how to do everything. So hopefully the more events you do, you literally have kind of a playbook, so to speak. Not to say it's all plug and play, because I hate that actually, but more importantly is just to get everyone in that growth mindset. And especially with interns, it's fun for them to think through the process. But I think, when it gets when you're just slammed too, it's hard to document what you're doing as you're doing it, but it's like so helpful. So I just wanted to add that. And
that's one of those things that
preaching to the
takes
choir.
time. Takes time on the front end, but it's well worth it in the long end. One thing that you brought up or you didn't bring it up, it came to my head as you were talking about IP and intellectual property contracts. That's one thing we just kind of like, sometimes you're in a rush. You just got to say, hey, let's do this. And we don't even think about contracts. Like, what can they share? What can they not share? What can they, do we own these? If they're coming up with products, if they're coming up with something, do we own it or not? So don't forget, contracts are very important. Anything else that anybody would like to just throw out there? We're technically over time. Any last minute comment before we head back over into cadence? This has been so good. I could talk for hours. I have so many questions and so many thoughts.
Will we lose the chat though? There's a lot of great contacts. Is there a way to keep that open for a second?
It's all documented.
Okay.
So, and it will, and all the recordings, you'll be able to see these. They'll be loaded back in. And
Actually,
yes,
you need to save them before we go. We figured this out yesterday. So you need to save the chat and the transcript.
Okay. I'll do that. And I appreciate everybody coming on. This has been very good. I'm going to try to figure out how to do this. Now, how do I save the chat? I don't use Zoom.
Okay, so it's in the background.
Yeah, you should have the three little dots because you're the host, and it should say save chat.
The 3 dots say live on custom streaming.
It would
On the chat box.
depend. It would depend actually on the setup from the beginning. So
Well,
if
it
it's
should be the
recorded.
host.
Is
So-
it not saved automatically?
It is if Liz set it up in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
they
Like she
did.
probably set it up that way.
The transcript, I think it must all be saved automatically because there's nowhere to
It is.
save it. Okay.
Oh, it wasn't yesterday. Okay, then maybe they changed it then. That's what I need for the summary of this. So I'll connect with you offline and make sure I get it.
Oh, save transcript. Maybe that's it. Oh, now I'm talking and it's recording it.
That's okay.
Thanks, everybody. See you back in Cadence.
Bye-bye.